A whole snowboard tribe here this morning, right here. There'll be no lessons till these ladies leave. We've got Maria, Emma, and Emma. How are you, ladies?
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. You all psyched and ready for the day?
Oh yeah.
This is a big week for you. You're out every single day this week, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
How many people do each of you take in your classes?
It can vary, really. There's been days where I've had one, and then there's been days where I've had 5.
Yeah. Vacation week probably more on the 5 side, huh?
Yeah.
If you were thinking about getting your child into snowboarding, where do you start? What do you do?
Make sure to give them a really good breakfast and pick a first day that's like sunny and mild, so that you're not fighting against the weather and their growling stomach for sure.
Yeah. You want it to be a good experience, so they want to get psyched and come back, right?
Yeah.
Where do you start there? How do you find out what their stance is and things of that? Are there qualifying questions, or you just ask them to run, or you push them, or what do you do?
Well, that's like the 1990s answer. Yeah. Like snowboard instruction has changed a lot since that era. But we just set them up in a neutral stance, and they figure it out. They figure it out by themselves. We don't have to know that information. You'll see them turn, you'll see them glide, and it's going to click one way for them before it clicks the other.
So they do it and discover it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting, because that was the advice I got. I couldn't figure it out. Yeah, and it's a fun sport. And do you think kids enjoy snowboarding more than skiing? Yeah. Why? Why do you think that's so?
It's just a cooler sport.
It's just a cooler sport?
Yeah, I don't know. We've had kids come from skiing to snowboarding, and they're like, wow, this is a lot more fun.
This is a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Well, as far as, I've only tried it once, and I didn't get a lesson, which was my big problem. I should have gotten one. And if you are snowboarding, what is different about it in conditions like this?
I mean, I guess I'm not really a skier, so it's hard to say. Yeah, we're all just snowboarders.
You've never skied before.
Touched a pair last year once.
You did touch a pair?
Like 5 years ago.
So none of you want to get caught on skis? Isn't that fun?
Occasionally, a couple times a year.
Yeah,
I did teach a lesson, but I learned how to ski once I was already a snowboard coach.
Yeah.
Some other coaches taught me how to ski, which was really funny. I mean, I guess that comparison that I could make it on a snowboard, it's sort of like a bicycle where you can't be standing up and standing still at the same time very easily.
Yeah.
And on skis, you're like, oh, I can just stand here. But I just felt like my arms and legs were everywhere, and I could do a split inadvertently, which is something that you can't do on a snowboard because your knees aren't going to be able to twist. Right.
And of course, not having poles, that's a whole new feeling. I'm explaining it as a skier, Now, let's talk about the age group. 3 seems awfully young to start snowboarding, but it's not, is it?
They're 3-year-olds, right? Like, they're little and they fall over and they're 3, and just being 3 is hard. Like, is it that much harder to be 3?
And they don't have that far to go to fall, right?
Snowboard,
Highly suggest half days for 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think that's great advice. So pick a nice day and make sure it's a great experience to start off. And all of you have groups of snowboarders, sometimes not. Let's talk about the older kids. What are some of the older kids? Do you teach older kids as well? Or do you just start off with the entry level? Tell me about what you do personally, Emma.
Well, I usually work with kids in the kind of like 8 to 12 range.
That's your specialty.
Yeah, it's also the most common age for people to snowboard, but I've had my fair share of people who have been like way older than me, which has been kind of a weird dynamic, but still really fun. But you do have to switch up your coaching style a lot if it's like a 4-year-old as opposed to like a 30-year-old.
Do the kids, when they get out there and they see those features, does that spark their curiosity, like they want to huck themselves off something?
Yeah.
How do you approach that?
Basically tell them to learn to go across the hill before hitting any jumps on their first day. I've had a kid who I was like, oh, what do you want to learn today? And he was like, oh, I want to go off a really big jump and like go super high and fast. And like, okay.
Right?
How
They
about
see
go
everyone else
fast
doing
across
it.
the hill.
And they will eventually. Yeah, I mean, that's got to be something that you need to be pretty good before you do that, because those features I've gone off and they're slippery. They're a lot more slippery than they look.
Yeah, but a lot of that is like the excitement of why they want to snowboard is because they saw Chloe Kim at the Olympics, or you know, they see these tricks and they think that they're cool, and like, why not teach them as soon as they're able to move across the hill? As soon as they have a little bit of control, they're super excited to learn how to do small features on day one, or if you know, like they're doing a 180 but you're holding their hands or at no speed. Like if that's a thing that helps them enter into snowboarding and helps them stay excited and like keep picking themselves up after they fall, like why not, right? Why not? Like those snowboards can go forwards either way, so yeah, we got to take advantage.
You guys have a blast doing it, don't you? Do you have any success stories, any kids that you can think of that have caught on just incredibly fast and that just seem like they've always done it?
Yeah. Yeah, I've had this. Can I say her name?
Probably, but not her last name. But
This girl named Julia. She's like super tiny. She's adorable. But when we started out, like she couldn't do her toe side at all, and then within like a few days, she was riding down Whiffletree like she was born there.
Just
Pretty
took
great.
right to it, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
Well, you've inspired them, I guess.
And I love it when they find the community and like sort of fit into the culture of snowboarding, even as littler people. Like that, it's just a little bit more free form. The groups are a little bit smaller, and I'm thinking of like, you know, an employee kid who was in bigger groups in the ski side of things, and then she came over to snowboarding, and it just like felt like a really natural fit, and kind of never went back.
No turning back after that. Well, thank you, lady. I appreciate you coming in this morning, and I know that you've got a busy day ahead of you, and we're going to